I kind of feel weird watching this and reacting to this entire thing, but we'll watch at least the beginning.
Hi everyone. I just want to start this video out by saying parental advisory. This is not a video for children.
Yeah.
And a trigger warning. Some of the things you're about to hear are going to be triggering for some people. I don't have approval from the board to make this video, but I have to say what needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
I have to. This is a video I never planned on making, and it's completely devastating having to sit down and write this out. But a couple days ago, Michaela Rains passed away. This is the most hurtful and difficult time of my life, so please bear with me as I try to read this through the tears. Michaela was the most bright and shining example of what you could accomplish if you really set your mind to something.
So this girl basically killed herself as a result of a coordinated bullying attempt and effort on, what do you call it, on Reddit. And so, and not just Reddit, it's the internet in general. Let me go back. The Fox Rescue Girl? Well, yeah. Let me see if I can just go ahead and pull it up and show you guys. And I didn't want to go through the entire thing, but yeah.
And she was so sensitive to everything, which is a double-edged sword because on one hand, it allowed her endless empathy for those in her care, but it also means that she took everything negative to heart. And now I want to talk about how words, whether spoken in person or written online, can affect someone.
How do you stop cyberbullying? I think that websites at a certain point, like whenever you're effectively witch hunting someone, like Reddit has, and this is a big problem that Reddit has, and I think Reddit is probably one of the worst websites and worst offenders for this, is that Reddit has rules against witch hunting, right? And the problem is that there are subreddits that are created that are dedicated to witch hunting. And so how is it that you have subreddits that are dedicated to just posting negative content about a person constantly, right? And even lying about them too, right? And again, like if you didn't have this rule, then I wouldn't be saying this. But at the end of the day, why do you have this rule and you don't apply the rule?
For a few years, a group of people had been throwing dirt on Michaela's name and the rescue.
Of course.
Most of these are people she knew, and some of them are other animal sanctuaries.
Oh, Jesus.
They consistently spread ridiculous claims and rumors, and being the sensitive human that she was, Michaela took it all to heart. And it hurt her. It hurt her a lot. But she pushed through. For years, she pushed through the pain of people trying to bring her down, and the mental challenges she faced. And she still rescued hundreds of animals and changed the lives of so many.
I think this is especially something that's like a magnet for hostile, vitriolic, negative people, is when they see a person who's doing something for, you know, charity or for the benefit of other people. I think that there's, and this is what I think the psychology of it is, this is my opinion, is that I think a lot of people out there are losers, and when they see somebody out there who's doing something that's productive, that's successful, that they're getting, positive feedback for, etc., and then that person now is getting that reception, well, guess what? Now people are fucking, they're mad because it's like, well, I'm not doing anything, so I have to figure out a reason why. Like, again, I think almost all internet hate and almost all internet bad behavior is something that actually comes from some sort of shortcoming that the person who's doing it has. So for whatever reason, this person feels like, oh, what makes them feel bad because they're useless or they're not doing anything. So they try to find ways that people who are doing something that's productive are not doing it in a completely authentic way, because then it makes them feel better about themselves. I think that's what happens.
But recently, more of the rude words, accusations, and name-calling came from some of those she considered close friends. I think all of this stems from jealousy and envy.
It's impossible to know.
But she felt as if the entire world had turned against her.
Yeah, and this is what happens. I mean, obviously, like, and there's a lot to unpack here and to discuss, right? I guess this is the woman who did it. She like saved, I guess, foxes, and so Save a Fox Rescue took her own life. She was seen on Save a Fox Snark attempting to defend herself from detractors. Here's how the subreddit's creator responded when she showed up. In 2019, this is commonplace for rescue to fighting enclosures. You let a fox loose a leg. A year ago, you just started fixing the fencing, and you think that makes you look good. Stop taking in new animals. Get your shit figured out. You could do well in your head, but so far up your ass to do so. If you don't want to deal with the public, then maybe just stick to OnlyFans. And so, and this is really the main issue that a lot of these comments have, and a lot of these people have, is that this is is this one of the people right here? User by the name of K's Lion is confirmed to be one of the bullies who harassed them and is not backing down. I'm not backing down. Fuck off. Okay, so this is one of the people that's complaining about her. Let's go back. And also, by the way, very much the usual suspects. And so what is this here? You act like I went to Michaela's house, sliced her open, wanted to bleed out. All I did was put a few other sources, did nothing wrong. I had no hand in bullying or any of the kind. Even if I did, you're no better than me for calling me slurs, telling me you should dox me, sending me instructions on how to kill myself. You asked me if I'm proud of myself if I killed myself with the guides you sent me. Would you be proud of yourself? Get real. I don't even know about this. This is just somebody who's trying to, what do you call it? They're trying to damage control, right? I mean, very obviously. I wrote an informational post explaining why a prominent figure in the asshole community is not a saint. People think she is. Now I'm alone and being blamed for her suicide. I don't think that it's any one person's fault. And in my opinion, what it seems like to me, I think that whenever a person like this kills themselves, there's not really, in a lot of cases, one reason. There's usually a lot of reasons that come together that cause this to happen. So I don't think it's really fair to blame like one individual actor or one specific person. And I think in a lot of cases, it's probably a confluence of events and a kind of combination of things that happen together. But from what the original statement was actually not even about Reddit comments. I'm sure Reddit comments were an agitating variable. Like, I'm not saying that they were not, but if you look at the actual comments that this guy made and his explanation of it, some of the people that she considered close friends. So for people to say that it's entirely because of Reddit that this happened, I don't think that's really a very fair analysis. Because if it was entirely because of Reddit, then like she's not friends with all of these people on Reddit. And so that's it. Do you think the people sending her terrible messages should be charged? No. No, I don't. I mean, like, I know obviously people want me to say yes for whatever reason, but no, you can't charge people because they sent someone a mean message on the internet. That's crazy. And again, this is also another big issue and another big problem is that a lot of subreddits exist. The explicit stated purpose of the subreddit is to damage a person's reputation, to collectively attack them, to destroy their reputation in one way or another, to character assassinate them, to spread lies about them. Like these are like the intent of this, to undermine the person. And so like there's a very big difference between something happening organically and then a community that exists on Reddit. And Reddit, again, has rules against this behavior. And I'm not talking about like every thread about a person should be an immediate ban of a subreddit. But when you have an entire subreddit that's dedicated to hating on one on one person specifically, or a group of people, but usually in this circumstance, it's one person, you really need to ask yourself, like, is this really something that's positive for the website? And then also another really big issue, and this is a huge problem, is that Reddit has rules against this, but they just prefer not to, enforce those rules. And I think that's really what the big issue is more than anything. It's that they have these rules, but then nothing happens. I think those people should be doxxed and copies of their messages sent to their family employer if they have one. Well, I don't know about that. It's a very complicated issue. The exact reasons why someone does what she did could not be impossible to know fully. Yeah, I mean, based off of like what this guy said, it seems very clear that the real thing that sent her over the edge wasn't a bunch of anonymous Reddit comments, but there were comments made by people that were inside of her own sphere of influence. Because she said it was other animal sanctuaries, other people that were noteworthy in the space. and then it was our own close friends. So to blame all of this on random Redditors, I think people are really jumping the gun on this. Am I crazy for me saying that? Instead of suing the person who sent the message, Ishan should consider suing Reddit itself over its failure to enforce their TOS and banish the Snark subreddit. She should have logged off for real. The problem is that, so, and this is the issue, is that log off of the internet. I understand that, and I think that there's a lot of validity to that, but I think the validity that has, that has a limit, and the limit is getting CPS called on you. So, for example, what happens with, like, let's say Ethan Klein, Ethan did log off of the internet. He wasn't, you know, like that wasn't what really set him over the edge. The problem is that these people try to weaponize real life systems in order to attack people. So it's not like they're just going and, you know, making mean comments or saying someone's stupid or, you know, someone's bad on the internet. They're trying to intentionally harass them in real life. And so that's really what the problem is. The problem is like, yeah, just how the fuck is cyberbullying real? Just close your eyes. You know, you're right. But the issue is that closing your eyes isn't going to stop you from hearing the knock on the door from CPS. And that's the issue that I think needs to be discussed, is that when you have internet communities that are getting together and then trying to weaponize real life consequences for a person that affect people's real lives, then I think we need to look at accountability. Then you need to look at people getting their logs pulled, people getting subpoenaed, and people getting charged. That is the big issue. Like, I don't want to see somebody get put in jail for saying, oh, this girl is fake bitch and she's not, you know, actually rescuing the foxes, she's killing them. I don't care about that. I don't think she even cares about that, right? I mean, maybe it's from a friend, but that's probably not really, that's not really the iceberg. It's not. And let's be honest, it's just simply not. And so swatting is a severe issue. Yeah, and this is what happens. It's hard to log off when your main funding animal sanctuary is online funding and videos. It was important to have an online footprint for her. I understand, but being on the internet is an option, like being in the UFC ring. If an action is happening outside of the internet, you have to take legal action with evidence. The problem is that, so, I don't know, like, I think that I kind of give a pretty balanced take on this, as best I can, at least, is that, like, I receive a lot of harassment on the internet. A lot of people try to harass me. People try to, you know, kind of make that spill over into my real life, where they harass friends of mine. They might try to harass sponsors, harass people that I work with, and they do that. This is very common. But at the end of the day, that's just what happens. It's what happens. But the problem is that I think that whenever you have things that go beyond just simply being annoying and saying mean things, like the CPS stuff. I think that's probably the best example that I can use, the Ethan Klein CPS stuff. Communities that are using that kind of stuff and weaponizing it, I think they do need to be shut down. Because at that point, what they're doing is they are facilitating illegal activities. Like, if you really distill this down to, like, are you weaponizing a government program in order to have this government program be the executioner of your internet beef? If the answer to that is yes, then you have a big problem. You have a huge problem. It's the same with swatting. Yes, exactly. It's like, it's soft swatting, basically. But yeah. That's also a problem. Harassment at any point should be punished, even if it doesn't have a real-life consequence, as harassment is illegal in every context. Well, it's not. Like, if you're standing at McDonald's and you call someone a fat bitch, you're not going to go to jail for that, and nobody's going to put you in jail for that, and I don't want to live in a world where you go to jail for that. That's retarded. It's a massive overstepping. It's a waste of everybody's money. Like, what are you talking about? I think that whenever a situation like this happens, people get emotional, and because they're emotional, they want to impose rules and laws and things like this that would completely limit everybody's expression because they're worried about something like this happening. The fact is that people that do this kind of stuff are subversive, they have intent, And whatever rule that you make, these people will try to undermine that rule or work around it in order to not get caught. So the way that you solve this problem is not actually by making a rule, it's by existing rules and taking the intent that these people have seriously and treating them accordingly. And so that's really how to deal with it. If you follow everyone calling a fat bitch, it's harassment, should have charges every day. Yeah, I mean, I think at a certain point it does kind of go a little bit too far. And this is the girl right there, I guess, yeah, she killed herself over suicide. One of the main bullies of Michaela Raines looks exactly how you would expect. Yeah, sure, right? I mean, that's about what I'd expect too. But, yeah, Sir Reddit, Ken turned friends and shelters against her. And this is also another big issue, is that a lot of people on the internet are extremely... You guys have no idea, so susceptible to internet narratives. Like, the moment that they hear anything or they do anything that's, like, slightly off, you know, like, and they're not getting approval on the internet, they just get instantly fucking terrified, and they'll do whatever they need to do in order to make people and commenters on the internet like them. Which, by the way, will never make people like you. You might need to explain swatting to non-US folks. I mean, I think a lot of people know kind of what that is, even if they're not in the US. But pandering, liberals are crazy. They see this person's bad, and they never question it. They go and dox that person and their family. I don't think this is a liberal problem. I think conservatives do this, but they just do it to different targets. This is an internet problem, and I think that it should be treated as if it's legitimate, right? Like, there's no reason to politicize something that doesn't need to be politicized. I think you make a very big mistake by doing so. And as this is another person right here, so it's another, I block zoophiles and porn bots. If you're a minor, it's a good idea to leave. I'm not backing down several years ago. So this person's like constantly trying to like look for a justification and a reason why it's okay. And also, again, there is a certain point where if you're harassing a person on an everyday basis, right? And like you're writing these comments about them constantly, there is a point where it does exceed a threshold. It's too much. Potentially calling SWAT on someone, which could lead to physical harm. Yeah. Call to action is the main takeaway. You can express your opinion. But once you take action by telling people to dox someone, kill themselves, or call CPS or FBI raids, that's where it crosses the line. Yeah, people are too comfortable saying whatever they want because they're anonymous online. They don't see it as real. Anybody who thinks that they're actually anonymous online is stupid. The people that are actually anonymous online know that if the CIA or the FBI really got involved, they would get them. That's the truth. A lot of these guys get got. Yeah, and even the ones that are being super secretive and super careful, all it takes is one mistake. Not all, many, right? 99%, and this is 99% of the 0.1%. The majority of people that are making a random Reddit account and making comments like this are not anonymous. And the moment that a court actually subpoenas your information, you will be immediately, instantaneously exposed, and it will be like you are posting from your fucking driver's license. Yeah, it's actually true. Yeah, it's total bullshit, guys. Total fucking bullshit. And so, again, VPN Andes, yeah, exactly. Tell it to the Trump assassin kid. What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. And I watched a documentary, Lester, the best hackers in the U.S., and he got caught easily. I mean, a lot of the guys that work at the FBI probably grew up doing like shady stuff, or they got caught and they're like, okay, well, come work for us after you serve your prison sentence. And obviously they would do that. That's a good job. And fuck, it's pretty hard to get a job after you're a felon. And so, I mean, you get paid pretty well. I mean, fuck. And also you've got the guys that are very good at this too. The fact is that, no, they don't. Of course they do. Absolutely they do. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, of course. And yeah, instead of prison. Well, it's not really that simple, right? But anyway, why not? Yeah, of course. Yeah, why wouldn't they do that? Wouldn't you do that? That's not how it works, retard. Of course it is. I mean, okay, I guess I could probably say this. I know somebody who I know this from personal experience. So of course that's not always how it happens, but like it is one direction that it happens. So yeah. Want to say the war in Iran, Israel started, has a clip you see? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. And so this is true. And also, it's not, keep in mind, like, I'm not saying it always happens this way. But here's what my point is, okay? Like, I'm making a point. It's not even relevant to what we're trying to discuss, right? The point that I'm actually trying to make here is that the people that work in these intelligence agencies have resources and tools that are completely asymmetrical with hackers and people that are working outside of the scope of law enforcement. They have a tremendous and extremely, massive apparatus of tools and resources. And obviously, some of the people that are very, very good at it are able to get away for a lot of reasons. And also, by the way, one of the biggest reasons why they're able to get away with it is because they live in countries where they can't get in trouble. In a lot of cases, like, they know who the guy is, but he's living in a country that doesn't do extradition. So they just have to deal with it. So that's it. In Iran? Yeah, exactly. In Russia? Yeah, exactly. Something like that. And so you're not Edward Snowden. I work in tech. This is all true. Yeah, of course. And so, or they're constantly moving. Usually, yeah, but they're moving from like one of these places to another. Like, yeah, Catch Me If You Can movie. Well, I'm not talking about a movie. I'm talking about real life, right? And so, yeah, anyway, let me see here. I mean, why is Asmon not ending himself over the harassment? Because he's mentally stable, and that's the point, and the real issue with the Fox girl. I don't think somebody being mentally, like, so there's always a spectrum, right? So there's a spectrum of mental fortitude that a person needs to be expected to have on the internet in order to exist on the internet. And I don't think that the internet needs to be completely padded so nobody can ever say anything bad about anyone. But what I am saying, though, is that there are extremes that exist, and those extremes go too far. And I think that's the point that I'm really trying to make, and that's the thing that I'm really talking about. I'm not talking about, like, somebody just making a mean comment, but I'm talking about, like, communities and groups of people that exist for the sole purpose of harassing a specific individual. That is a huge issue. The Reddit community is now private, but screenshots are being taken and shared across social media. Yeah, and there is also, like, several snark subreddits reportedly harassed her for months. Again, the kinds of people that are doing this, I don't know what would happen if somebody like this, because, and this is what I bet would happen. And I am assuming a lot here, but I don't think that I'm wrong. I bet if these people got investigated, you would, through court discovery, find them making comments of them saying, probably explicitly, we're doing this to harass her, we hope she kills herself. I bet you would find a lot of comments like that, but they were just made privately and not publicly. I bet it would be so fucking easy to find. It's complicated, but wasn't her husband and family responsible to have her less exposed to the internet? Like, they know she's vulnerable? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about, like, every detail. Defamation is not considered a crime, rather a civil wrong. Well, it's not about that. I mean, we're not really talking about defamation. We never were. Do you think Reddit and other social media companies should be held accountable for these orchestrated bullying campaigns that lead to deaths? I think that they should uphold their own terms of service. So, for example, if they say that they're banning witch hunting subreddits, but there's a subreddit that's dedicated just to harassing one specific person, then categorically that subreddit should get banned, because that's against the rules. So the issue is, again, not because, like compare this with, like, 4chan, for example, right? Like, there's a million negative threads made about me on 4chan all the time. People arguing, am I a Jew? Am I a Nazi? I don't know. People still don't know. There's a very active discussion about this topic, and it is going on probably right now. And so, yeah, there it is. Maybe both. Yes, I'm a Jewish Nazi. And so, and I don't think anybody would say, like, these are the, like, this is a huge problem, right? It shouldn't really be taken seriously, because 4chan doesn't really have a rule against that, right? But I think that Reddit is different because Reddit has rules against these things. And that's really what the difference. Probably targets of 632 cults. Yeah, the new thing of stop killing games. Well, I don't know about that or not. And what the fuck is in that? The guys should be OnlyFans? I don't know about that. You're delusional. I look at NSFW gifts every day. I never seen any Asmon hate. Well, go to poll. Like, I mean, that's really where I get discussed a lot. Like, every time that I see myself being discussed on 4chan, it's either about, like, some weird streamer drama bullshit, or it's about poll. Right? I mean, I tell you right now, like, I go on 4chan all the time. I know this because I've seen it. So, yeah, it's that simple. And remember the 4chan kid that got arrested for making a threat against a cop? Yeah. Isn't Snark the Reddit that Denims and Frogan are a part of? No, but they're not really a part of it, I would say. But they do elevate it. I mean, sure they do. The end of Stop Killing Games. What is this? This is a 1 hour video. There's no way I'm going to watch a 1 hour video. Let's see if I can find the rest of these. About OTK thread? I have no idea. I mean, like, I can't know every thread that's on 4chan, right? But, like, the point that I'm making is that anything like that, any of those comments, any of those people, that's not really, in my opinion, like with this girl, I don't think that's enough. I think it's very clear that this girl took her own life because of people that she knew in her real life and people that were contemporaries and, like, effectively colleagues with her. Those are the people that really were the ones that I think probably contributed the most to this. And I don't think that it's fair that we blame Reddit or mean YouTube comments. Yeah, her peers are the ones that were really responsible. Now, obviously, the Redditor comments and everything like that, they were an agitating variable. Sure, of course they were. But let's not act like that was the main cause.